After being in the chamber for about 20 years, I wanted more, right? My son was grown by then, and my husband and I jokingly call the Rotary our church, right? So you really need to find your people.
Welcome to the Ill Noise Business Playbook. We sit down with people building real impact in their communities and unpack the vision behind their work. If you care about real stories and real connection, you're in the right place. Let's make some noise. All right, welcome to the Ill Noise Business Playbook. Please make sure you're following us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do it. We've got Jackie here with the Lake in the Hills Rotary Club. Jackie, how you doing today?
Feeling great. Beautiful day. Ready for the day.
Awesome. I'm feeling more at ease because I see your little Buddha over there. So let's keep that energy going. I know you're the director of the Rotary Club, but I think there's a lot of people in the audience that need to know what exactly is the Rotary and what is the functionality of it.
So I am on the board of directors for the Lake in the Hills, Rotary Club of Lake in the Hills. And Rotary International is a international philanthropic organization. There are over 1 million members in almost every country of the world. In fact, this week is our international conference, and this year it's being held in Taipei.
Okay.
I've had the opportunity to go to 2 of them. They're incredible. But Rotary is based on service above self. It was actually started in Chicago by a group of businessmen in the city who felt that they were in the chamber together and they felt that they needed to do more for the community. So they decided, why don't we start doing service projects? So the very first service project that Rotary International ever completed was a public restroom in the city of Chicago. And so Rotary International is actually based out of Evanston, but it is well known throughout philanthropic circles. They work to end polio. We are this close to eradicating polio.
Nice.
They helped build the United Nations. So the Rotary is really based on like-minded people who believe that we have a 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And is it beneficial to all concerned? And we're just people of action.
I love that. When I graduated from college many moons ago, I joined the not-for-profit sector. So just doing anything to kind of benefit others, to be of service of others is kind of built within me. I mean, obviously with the show, I think we're kind of showing that, my wife and I. But where do you think that desire to be of service to others, where did that come from, Jackie?
For myself?
Yes.
So I started my business when I was 31 and I had a 1-year-old son. And so I've been in the community for over 30 years and I joined the chamber because my sales manager told me to. And as being part of the Chamber of Commerce, it's been great. It's a great networking opportunity, but that's really not focused on service. It's more focused on helping the businesses connect. And, after being in the chamber for about 20 years, I wanted more, right? My son was grown by then and I was very passionate about doing, or being involved in the scholarships when we used to have them at the chamber. And I just felt like I needed to do something outside of myself, right?
Nice.
And my husband and I jokingly call the Rotary our church, right? So hoping
Love
to
it.
change the landscape of the community. So we found a place and a home in Lake in the Hills Rotary Club, and we've had the opportunity to go on service trips to Guatemala. I've been to Uganda, and not to mention the many projects we've done in the local area. So I think it just came from a place of, to those who much has been given, much is expected.
That's great. And specifically, how did it route you to the Rotary? You're saying that you want to be of service of others, but you can obviously be of service for others doing a bunch of things. I love the fact that you're mentioning that it's a church to you. I mean, when you're at a church, you have to have faith in what you're doing. You have to be of service to others, and you're kind of fulfilling that right now. But what do you think guided you specifically to the Rotary?
Well, Joe, I'll tell you exactly why.
Please.
So after I was on the board for the chamber the first time, the chamber was run by an executive director who made the decision that the chamber didn't need to offer scholarships for our high school kids. And I was like, that's a bad idea. So I knew many of the people that were in the club at the time, and they had a scholarship, and I said, I'd like to be involved in that. So I joined the Rotary because of their scholarship program, and I was in the club for 3 months and then took over the scholarships for them. So it really started with that, with just realizing that really that the chamber wasn't filling that need that I had, and not honestly realizing the extent of what Rotary does. Like, I walked in really clueless, honestly, because it's Rotary is made up by the international, and then, you can get all the way down to the club level. And so, just in McHenry County alone, we have clubs in Algonquin and Woodstock and McHenry and Johnsburg. There's Rotary clubs in almost every community, Crystal Lake, and a lot of it, just you find the club that fits where your heart is. I happen to be very fortunate because I found my club right away,
That's
right? It's
beautiful.
we are a club. We get things done. I'm not going to use the profanity, but we get it done. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
What? Yes, yes, I do. If not number one, I know of at least two things you're talking about here. What specific things have you been able to accomplish that you're very proud of through the Rotary Club?
Oh my goodness. To be honest with you, I mean, I don't want to sound contrite, but a lot of
Yeah.
things. So on a very local level, we do have a very robust scholarship program. We try to include not just the students in Lake in District 300. We really reach out to all the surrounding districts that our Lake in the Hills students would attend. And we put it out there to everybody, right? So we have that. And probably I would say for our club, one of the things that we're most proud of is our grant program. So after our Rib Fest, we have our budget for the year. We decide how much we can afford to put into our grants. And then we have given away probably $500,000 over the last 10 years based on the income that we get through the Rib Fest. So that's
Beautiful.
one of the things I think that's, from my heart, the best thing that we've done, because it's also allowed us to connect with all these nonprofits in McHenry County. And I don't think that people really can appreciate just how collaborative our county is when it comes to our nonprofits. But, after we give our grants out, then in September, we have a grant presentation and we invite everybody to come, and we have all of our grant winners really set themselves up so that as people come, they get to find out more about what they're doing for the people in McHenry County. And we even have a Teams grant, which allows two nonprofits to work together on a single project. So I would say that's the big one. We also are very passionate about the environment. We are working with the Dawn Breakers Rotary Club out of Crystal Lake to put in our 7th pollinator garden at NAMI, which is located in Crystal Lake. So we started doing pollinator gardens during COVID. So 2021. So we've done one every year. Actually, I think this is our 6th. If I said 7th, it's really our 6th. But
Okay.
we've done one every year since 2021. And we've worked with the Village of Lake in the Hills. We've worked with private corporations, and we've worked with nonprofits. We have one at each one of the Algonquin area libraries.
Love it.
So that's another thing. And then the third piece of what I think our club is really well known for is our international travel. So this year we did not go on. We had kind of a rough Rib Fest last year, as you may remember. It rained a lot.
I do remember, Jackie. Yes, as one of our tents got destroyed, I do certainly remember that. Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No, it's not your fault. I don't think you
I
chose
know,
for it to
but
rain, Jackie.
I always feel bad. But traditionally and historically, we will take one trip. We typically go to Guatemala. We've been working with the same group for many years, working with a Mayan school because the indigenous children of Guatemala, the Mayans, are very underserved. And quite frankly, Joe, the government of Guatemala looks at Rotary as really one of their close allies. So they appreciate the work, not just what we do from our club level, but across the country. Many clubs will go down there. So
That's beautiful.
that's that.
No, that's a lot of beautiful things. I love people that are, you know, living this life trying to help others. I think that's kind of what life is all about, quite frankly. If someone was
Agreed.
considering joining the Rotary Club, what would be your sales pitch to them? Why should they?
Oh my gosh. I tell people, look, you got to come and volunteer for the weekend at Ribfest. That's where you will figure out whether or not this is a good fit for you. Because I think everybody in our club is committed to this event. I say this is my mantra. The Rib Fest is a means to an end for us. We get to do all the good things after we put this event on, but it is all hands on deck. So if you are considering joining our club, particularly, really you need to spend some time volunteering at Rib Fest and
Absolutely.
figure out because here's the thing, Joe, because there's so many different clubs out there, every dynamic is different, right? So if you really want to make a difference in something like the Rotary Club, you really need to find your people. And maybe it's us, maybe it's not us, but we work really hard. Our club, we like to get dirty and sweaty and, have fun but do all the things. We like to do all the things. So.
Yes, getting dirty and sweaty. That again reminds me of day one of Ribfest last year. I got plenty of dirty and sweaty that day, and wet that day too. But again, not your fault, Jackie. It just wasn't meant to be that first day. But the next 2 days were so beautiful that kind of made up for that
we had
day.
great. Yeah, Saturday and Sunday were great.
We're awesome. And I really think that's really so key that if somebody wants to even consider joining your club or any club that's of service, then they need to obviously do something of service, and volunteering is probably the number one, thing to do. So
right.
I think that's phenomenal. You're referencing the Ribfest, and honestly, it's something I'm extremely excited about for my own which is really a selfless way. But I know Neha and I are pretty stoked about it. But what can people expect at the Ribfest this year?
Well, it's our 20th anniversary. So
I do.
This is a big year for us. We have gotten just an amazing amount of sponsors this year, new ones, a lot of new sponsors. So we are really psyched about that. I think we've expanded and working directly now, partnering with the Algonquin Lake in the Hills Chamber to put on the market, the Ribfest market. We have a couple new rib vendors this year. And we have a couple new non-rib food vendors, which is not easy to say, right? Those are our food vendors that don't sell ribs, is what that means.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we have a few we have a Polish truck this year, which we're pretty psyched about, as just one example. And we have, and of course the music, right? The music is really, that makes everybody happy. And this year, Saturday night, we have the country's best Kiss tribute band. They all dress in makeup and they do the whole 9 yards on that. So that's going to be pretty incredible. I think we actually are, for the first time, we have a little merch. We have a little merch that's going to be available. We're working with Lisa from Crafty as a Mother.
Nice.
She designed a really couple fun T-shirts for us. It's just not something that we've done in the past. So her team will be on site at the market and making T-shirts to order right there. And she also has an opportunity if people want to pre-order and then just go there and pick them up. So I think that this year, especially coming off of the last 2 years where we've had a little bit of a struggle, I think this year we are just psyched because we really feel the community surrounding us. And for the first time ever, our volunteer We only have like one time slot on Saturday night
Love
that
it.
hasn't been filled with volunteers. And I think there's a couple slots on Thursday. But other than that, we had our meeting last night, and I mean, it's just incredible because our nonprofits really show up for us. So it's a very cyclical and reciprocal event, right? So our nonprofits know that our success will help fund our grants, which then go back out to the nonprofit community. So we really, and it's fun. I gotta be honest with you, Joe.
Yes.
You know, when you go, when you volunteer, if you're not having fun when you volunteer, you should probably find something else to volunteer for.
Absolutely.
And volunteering at RibFest is just plain old fun.
Well, I'm gonna rock and roll all night and party every day with this. I'm really excited about the music.
One more thing that's new is that you and Neha will be there in our community stage. So we're excited about that too.
No, we're extremely excited and so thankful to be given the opportunity. All we're trying to do is just highlight all the beautiful people that are doing beautiful things out there. And so for you guys to give us the opportunity to do so, Neha and myself are extremely excited. So thank you and everyone that is allowing us to do so. When you think about some of the revenue streams that are going to be coming from this, where exactly will these proceeds go this year from RibFest?
Well, the three I named already, right? And then the pollinator garden. The nice thing about Rotary, also, you get matching grants for certain projects that you may do.
Okay.
I think one of the projects that we've been talking about for the last couple of years, and we've done in the past, is really do something for the village of Lake in the Hills. You know, when the war memorial in front of the police department and the village was put up, our club put up the majority of the funds for that memorial. And we have put in not only a set of, I'm not saying swings, but like kids, like playground equipment. We did a musical playground equipment. We've done a Frisbee park for Lake in the Hills, but we really haven't had an opportunity to do anything. And I would like to start putting money aside for a project that would be beneficial within the village of Lake in the Hills. Kind of, but that's something we decide on a club level. But I do know that if we can, we'd like to get back to Guatemala.
Love it.
But we also kind of leave it up to what the need is in the community, because we have some nonprofits that we've become very close with, and but we have a heart for all. So I think that we just wait. We just, and honestly, we like to get dirty. So if it's cleaning and building and we can help pay for it, I mean, that's like the trifecta. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think that's really beautiful. One of the people that I looked up to so much was a former president, Jimmy Carter. And if you look at what he did with his life post-presidency, it's really beautiful. And I'm sure you're aware of that stuff. But I think that's sort of a component of what you guys are doing too. You're really selfless. You're really giving back. You've named so many wonderful things that are happening at this RibFest in particular, Jackie. What are you specifically most excited about?
Well, that I'm not in charge of it this year. I had 5 years of chairing it.
Sure.
Right after COVID, so it is a lot of work, and so this year Nick Covarrubias and Lindsay Herrera are co-chairing the event.
Nice.
So I am looking forward to not getting a phone call that the porta potties are out of toilet paper at 6:00 on Saturday.
Yeah,
I know.
That's a crappy call, Jackie.
Yeah, and it really is. You know what? You know what it is. So.
Yes, it is.
But it also means that I can see what else is going on and really get to spend some time at the gates helping there, spend some time pouring beer and just much more. It's just much more relaxed. And I say relaxed, Joe, I don't mean relaxed. I mean just where I'm not in the hot seat, right?
Yes.
So I am looking forward to that this year.
Yeah, I share that same thought.
Okay, sorry.
Last year we were in the vendor area, obviously, and it was just like we've got to get the word out. We got to get the word out. I'm looking forward to the fact that, again, that we get to be part of it as well. I think it's going to be great. Do you still have spots that local businesses can join the area where all the vendors are at?
Yeah, we sure do. It was designed for to allow for really up to, I think, 70
Wow.
vendors. We are currently just under the 50
Okay.
mark. This is usually when we get like a full court press on those who are like, okay, it looks like, this year would be the year I want to do it. So we do have spots available. Like I said, we are working with the chamber directly. I wear two hats, right? So I'm president of the Algonquin Lake and the Hills Chamber this year, as well as part of the Rotary Club. And I just felt like this would be a really good partnership to have. We have some great folks at the Algonquin Lake and the Hills Chamber.
Yes.
Both Linda and now Caleb, our
Yep.
new executive director, are just very hands-on, and it's helpful for us because, as you can imagine, we're all volunteers. I mean, I'm in real life, I'm like an insurance agent. So, so we all have jobs and we all go to work, except for my husband who's retired and he does like a lot of work for us
Yes.
for Rotary. So yeah, if there are businesses out there that are interested, we supply the space
Yes, you
and
do.
some electric, and it's $300. And so you can go on our website, rockinrotaryribfest.com. So it's rockin, no G,
Mm-hmm.
rockinrotaryribfest.com. And there's a link that you can sign up, a link that you can volunteer. It also lists all of our entertainment and our vendors. And don't forget, we also have a carnival. So that's really cool to have a
Yes.
partnership with Windy City. They have been incredible. I got to tell you, I'm going to give them a plug. And the reason I'm going to give them a plug is because I don't think that people really understand how dedicated that the Salerno family who owns Windy City, how dedicated they are to the communities that
Right.
they bring their shows to. They are genuinely kind people who support the community, and I think that and they run a very clean show. That's what they call the carnival, a show. But I like it, and they really, I think sometimes people will get a little leery about carnivals, but I mean, Windy City and the folks that own it are just gems. That's all I have to say. So I hope people will come and bring their kids. It's nice because the people who live in the Lake in the Hills community that surrounds that can walk over there, you can get into the carnival without having to pay to get into
Yep.
the fest. So we left it like that so that, the kids can go and do their thing, even if mom and dad aren't ready to, come in and spend some time inside.
I just want to go back to something you had said as well, because Neha and I were in the vendor area last year. It really is a great opportunity not only to obviously share what you're doing with your own personal business, but it's also a really wonderful networking opportunity to just meet other folks that are trying to do wonderful things in the world. So I just want to say to anyone out there that is looking to join, be a part of this on that level, please do so. There's so much value with it. You certainly get a chance to meet some wonderful people. And your husband was really wonderful, specifically to us last year as well. He kind of stood out. So give Wade our some props from us, please.
Absolutely. Everybody loves Wade. Everybody loves Wade.
Yeah, I think you guys are both lucky. Wade's just as lucky as you are.
Thank you.
One thing leadership is something that's extremely important to me. I spent 20 plus years in the corporate world, and I was directing sales teams and always trying to, what I would always say is I was always trying to coach with compassion, so I could really kind of help people on an individual level rather than just a group level. What do you think community service has taught you, Jackie, about leadership?
Oh gosh, where would I even start? So I'm going to say this about leadership. I think that as somebody who's gone through LGMC, which is the leadership of Greater McHenry County, also an amazing program that's run by the nonprofit LGMC, it's taught me that it's important that we are always looking for the next set of leaders. I think that sometimes when we're leading, we forget that we can't lead forever. And we have been very intentional and purposeful in our club to try and create and support leaders in our own club so that somebody like me doesn't have to do
it forever.
doesn't have to do it forever, right?
Sure.
So I think that is my takeaway. Really, I want my legacy to be that we have a group of leaders following behind us, and then they are looking for their leaders to follow behind them. Because, right, everybody has their own way of leading, but I think when you do lead with compassion, and you'll be a winner. You can't lose at something like that.
I agree with you. And you're sort of referencing something I think it's really important. And because you already referenced a basketball terminology when you said full court press, I would always say in that sense, you should have a bench. You should have a bench of future leaders. So, and I think that's really what you're learning to do. And I think quite honestly, if I may, I think Caleb's a great example of that. I think Greg set the stage that it was a lot easy transition for Caleb to kind of come through because he was able to see what Greg was doing, talk through what Greg was doing, and then Greg was able to mentor him appropriately. And I just think that's just important in general.
Well, if I may, I'm just going to tell you that has been my mantra since I got into the leadership position again at the chamber. Like our boards for the chambers, any organization, really, you have to cultivate leadership. You have to help that. You have to support it. You have to allow it to come to its own fruition. And
Absolutely.
I think that the best organizations are the ones that have leaders that are always looking for their replacement.
Yep. Agreed. Very well said. Very well said. Lastly, what advice would you give people that just want to get more involved? Maybe the Rotary Club's not for them, but let's be honest. You're kind of you're a bigwig, not only in the Rotary Club but also in the chamber. Neha certainly loves being part of being part of the board and doing the wonderful stuff there. But what advice would you give to somebody else that just wants to become more involved in the community?
Start with your passion.
Yeah.
What do you love? You love dogs? Yep. There are so many rescues out there that really are looking for volunteers. Do you like cats? There are cat rescues out there that are looking for volunteers. Do you like horses? How do you feel about vets? Do you like veterans? How about children? Do you like children? Would you like to volunteer with them? There's CASA. What is it that you're passionate about? What in your field that you're already doing, do you feel like, oh my gosh, this would be the icing on the cake for me? If you have a passion, I'm going to say environmental. There's the environmental defenders. There are so many opportunities, but it has to be what speaks to you. So when people join our club, and once you get to when you decide that you're going to go into leadership in our Rotary Club, we always tell our new presidents coming in, this is your year. So if there's something you're passionate about, we all want to learn about it. We want you to, let's find out about that.
It's beautiful advice. If you do what you're passionate about, it's not work. It's just part of who you are. Jackie, thank you so much for spending time with us. When it comes to passion, you're certainly passionate about your role in the Rotary Club. You're passionate about your role in the chamber. You're passionate about the Rib Fest. And you're just passionate about helping others. So thank you for showing up today, being authentic, being so honest, and just coming to tell people what you're all about. I think it's great. So appreciate you spending some time with us today, Jackie. You got it. Take care.